Today's disc review is brought to you by Sun King Discs. Browse Sun King's extensive online store, including merchandise from all the major brands, at sunkingdiscs.com. Sun King offers much more than just discs. Anything you need from bags, carts, apparel, and accessories, Sun King has you covered. The only thing better than their incredibly fast shipping is their top-notch customer service. Hey, what's going on, disc golf fans? Today we are taking a look at the new Discraft Soul, their new understable mid-range. You can see here in the picture that these are a speed 4, glide of 5, turn of -3, and a fade of 0. And based on my throwing experience, I would say that those numbers are pretty accurate. Definitely a disc that you need a little bit of touch for. The only thing that I struggle with on that is maybe that 0 fade. I think for me, compared to the other understable options that they offer for their mid-range game, I think that it comes back a little bit more at the end than that 0 rating might imply. You can see some shots here from underneath the disc. Obviously with that speed 4, it's got a pretty narrow rim, but this disc is one of the most unique discs that I've ever thrown, that I've ever even held. Very different than anything else. It's got a very rounded nose to it, almost like an ultimate disc. That's what it reminds me of. Again, here's a little bit of a profile shot of it. You can see that it's got a slight dome to it, helps with that glide. And this is definitely a very glidey disc in my experience. It doesn't want to just flip over and turn and burn, as some people would call it. This thing likes to just glide out there. For me, I feel like it flies like a longer putter, and you'll see in the shots coming up here, that's kind of how I use this disc. You can see some profile pics here of it next to the Meteor, and the Meteor is what I was throwing for my understable slot until the Soul came out. You can see that the Soul is definitely more rounded around the edges and even the bottom, whereas the Meteor has more of a little bit of a dome, and then it rounds around, and then it's very sharp down to the bottom. And again, you can see the Soul has a narrower rim, and that is very noticeable when you grab the two discs. Here's the Soul next to the Comet, and as you can tell, they look nothing alike on their profile pictures. The Comet has always felt pretty uncomfortable in my hand, and I think a lot of people that throw Meteors feel the same way about the Comet. It's kind of crazy how different they look when you look at them like this, because you have to throw them pretty similar. The Comet's always been a very finesse disc for a lot of people, and I think the Soul is very similar to that in my experience. And then last but not least, the Buzz SS and the Soul side by side. You can see that, again, the Soul is a lot more rounded all the way to the bottom. The Buzz has kind of that same sharp edge as the Meteor did. These really don't compare a lot. I just bagged the Buzz SS as my other slightly understable disc, so wanted to throw that in here just to show the comparisons between the two. Even though the Buzz SS is more of a straight flyer, you can definitely manipulate it, and if you throw it hard enough, it's going to flip over. But naturally, the Soul is a lot more understable, I've found. This throw here showcases exactly what I love about the Soul. You'll see I release it on a slight anhyzer, but it just keeps riding that out. Slow, glidey finish to the right. It doesn't just dump over to the right. And this next one I release on the same angle, threw it a little bit high, and you'll see that it has that same flight pattern, and then it'll stall out, fall to the left. Definitely nothing that's classified as an overstable finish by any means. That one here, I hyzer flipped, and it rode pretty dead straight until the end, where it just loses that steam and falls off to the left. This one I throw again on a hyzer, but I don't get after it quite enough to flip it up to flat. I didn't throw it quite hard enough, but you'll see it just holds that line. Whatever line you put this thing on, it just holds. That's what I really love about the Soul. Big anhyzer if you need to get up and around something. This disc I typically like to use as a get out of trouble disc. Something where I need to get around to the right, I throw mainly backhand, right hand backhand, and you'll see both of those shots. The first one obviously was a little bit more dumpy. The second one really showcases that glide and how it just likes to keep kind of fighting out of it a little bit. So all in all, this is definitely a disc that I recommend to a lot of different players. This isn't a disc that's going to get talked about a ton because I think a lot of bigger arms are either not going to throw it or they're just going to overlook it because it's classified as an understable disc. Where I've really grown to love this disc is because of its versatility. I think for a lot of beginners, a lot of slower arm speeds, they can really throw this thing like a lot of people can throw a buzz. I know that I've let my wife throw this when we've been out playing, and it goes dead straight for her. I think that a lot of beginner and intermediate players will find this disc very valuable. I know for me as an intermediate player, this disc has helped shave a lot of strokes off of my golf game. I'm able to use the sole on so many different shots, whether it's a short forehand flick, big anhyzer with a right hand backhand, flip to flat hyzer shot through the woods. Really any shot that you want to shape, you can do with the sole. I think right now this is one of Discraft's most appreciated discs in their lineup. One, I think because it's an understable disc and a lot of guys don't like to admit that maybe they need to disc down in a lot of situations. I know for me, I went out trying to throw a lot of very fast discs and very stable discs for a very long time, and that just doesn't suit my game because I don't have a big arm. And maybe you're in that same boat. You're looking for something that you can really work on a lot of different lines. Like I said earlier in the video, this disc reminds me a lot of an ultimate disc. I feel like this is just a really fun disc to go out. You can put it on so many different lines and use so many different angles and just touch. Huge thank you again to Sun King Discs for making this video possible and supplying us with these new Discraft soles. If you liked what you saw, make sure that you subscribe to us here on YouTube. Also give us a follow on Instagram at DiscGolfCentral_. We'll be doing weekly review videos of different discs and different disc golf products. Also be doing different giveaways each week and throughout the weeks. So make sure you give us a follow, tell your friends about us, and have a great day.